so global. Second Life's currently about 65% or so global in terms of its usage. Those people that are doing those transactions can, in general, not even tell, from what country the person they're doing business with comes. It causes a rapid market-based adaptation and reaction to things like pricing. So what people charge for services in the virtual world, I would argue, is extremely efficiently adjusts to be an optimal sort of price point or value point. To the question of why people typically charge less for things, as they often seem to in Second Life, than perhaps they would in the real world when you can find a rough equivalent, I think some of that discounting is presently just due to the fact that virtual worlds are fun and novel, and as an individual jumping into them for the first time, once you kind of get over the learning curve, you are generally having a great time. It's fun to use a new medium like this. And so you typically then, as a worker, will discount the prices that you'll charge for things because, you're enjoying yourself using the new tools. I think this phenomena has happened in other mediums. I'd say it was probably a big observable in, say, early desktop publishing, where people probably charged, relatively low hourly rates effectively for graphical work that today you'd pay a lot more for. Anecdotally, I've seen prices kind of rise gently in Second Life over time in a way that makes that observation seem correct. So I think long-term we'll see prices for things in the virtual world being both efficient in the economic sense, that is, correct and as low as they can be, basically, and also higher as people become more accustomed to working, full-time in the virtual world.
So you're saying that it's hard for people to charge fair market value for their work when they aren't able to get their shoes out of a virtual box yet, which was my problem for the first couple months when I was exploring Second Life, shall we say. And Tammy, would you like to jump in on that subject about the fair market value for one's work?
Yeah, I would agree with Philip. I mean, there's this kind of euphoria when you're doing something that is a new skill and it's fun and you actually discover you could get paid for it. As demand rises, so does your price to supply it. So I think from an innovative perspective, there is that pace. I think this is the other area where virtual worlds are very tied to formal labor markets around the world. And around the world, wages vary for very similar skills. And when you're in a world where there's 50 different countries competing for skills, you're going to see some of that variation. I think without question, as skills become scarce around the world, you'll see that the price of those skills becomes more closely aligned. So this is just one of the transparency issues that is where gives you the opportunity to see how Second Life can really mimic the real world of work and some challenges that people are going to have to wrestle with as far as identifying, what is the payoff for those skills when you think about, the ability to work from home and work on your own time and flexibility. All of those come into what you perceive personally as a fair wage.
And to always have a good hair day, which really can't be overstated.
It really can't be overstated.
No, it really can't be. Linda, your area of expertise is in helping people identify opportunities and build successful businesses. More recently, you've noted a shift in how individuals think about their careers, a shift from blindly following the career path defined by large companies to a focus on entrepreneurship, not just in building new ventures, but also in defining a career. Can you speak a little bit on that issue, please?
Well, that's right, Eureka. It used to be when kids grew up that they had an idea of what they wanted to do, and they even had a view of the ideal company within which they'd work. And those personal expectations and goals were often fueled by parents' expectations, by teachers' expectations, by society's expectations. And those expectations limited their ability to chart their own career path, to look inside themselves and identify what type of work, what type of company would best engage them in the work that they wanted to do and would really fuel their passion, not just from a short-term perspective, but throughout their career. And it definitely limited most young people from considering entrepreneurial careers. Today, I see this perspective changing. Young people, and even those of us who aren't so young, are approaching careers in a much more entrepreneurial way. Now, at HBS, we define entrepreneurship as the relentless pursuit of opportunity without regard to the resources currently controlled. Now, we think this is a powerful definition because it doesn't focus on a particular size of company, it doesn't focus on the age of the company, but instead says that entrepreneurship is a style of leadership. It focuses on individual qualities of entrepreneurs. First, they're opportunity-seeking. Rather than trying to always reduce risk, they seek out opportunities. Second, they're relentless and are willing to shift their perspective if something gets in the way of achieving goals. So they focus on the journey, not just the destination, and they don't expect that that journey will always be a straight path. Finally, they don't expect to have all the resources they need before starting on the journey. They're willing to go out, and they're willing to scrounge a little bit for resources, and they become very adept at finding what they need.
I love what you say about the focusing on the journey and not just the destination, which is a tenet that guides my entire life, and not to expect the journey to be a straight path. I think that's a very critical idea, that the expectation for things to just fall into place magically, that changing expectation will certainly change the world of work considerably. How do you see this shift from a company-centric career model to a more entrepreneurial career model transforming the world of work? And how can individuals meaningfully participate in creating their own career paths based on their interests and passions rather than circumstantially finding jobs and working just for the sake of making a living, which we all have to do one way or the other?
That's right, we do, don't we? But it doesn't have to be that work is not fun, that it doesn't engage us passionately. One of the reasons I've enjoyed working with Manpower is that they're creating a platform, both in-world and in the real world, that enables people to chart their own paths. The entrepreneurs I work with, whether they're working within the context of a large firm or they're building their own firms, need information and they need tools to help them chart their own path. Well, we don't want to go down blindly the path that someone else has set. People need help. They also need role models of successful people that have charted their own path. And once they have that information, those tools, and those role models, the passion and engagement people feel toward work is just positively unbelievable. I see us entering into a world of work where people won't settle for being anything less than fully engaged. Money can't buy that passion, and if we can unleash it, the benefits to the economy and society will be tremendous.
Have you seen any specific role models that you'd like to share with us for this model?
Well, there's three basic entrepreneurial role models that I see in my work, and I've found that it's important for people to know what type of entrepreneur they want to be as they decide what kinds of opportunities they want to pursue, whether they're going to pursue those opportunities by building their own business or whether they're going to be entrepreneurial in the way they want to build their career. The first type of entrepreneur, and probably the most popular among our HBS students, is someone who's attracted to building high-growth businesses fairly quickly. The entrepreneurs that build these businesses are usually individuals that would like to see the opportunities they pursue take hold and grow quickly. They're always willing to jump to a new opportunity once the first business is either sold or if growth slows. For them, excitement and passion is centered more on the early stages of launch and growth and not on running businesses over the long term. The second type of entrepreneur that we often see are ones that